Radar and job safety. As a reference, please check out the OSHA manual subsection 1926 that has to do with construction safety. Cal OSHA, that's the link where you can download the manual directly from. In addition to that, a couple of safety manuals have been added to the LMS as well, in addition to some safety videos that you're going to be watching. So safety is everybody's responsibility. Your safety precautions can ensure that you never cause an accident to happen. All the safety guidelines in the world will never protect you from an accident. It's all about situational awareness. Your attitude, actions, attention to detail, and quick thinking can reduce the chance of an accident happening to you or the ones around you. It's important that you're always aware of your surroundings and what you're doing and the people around you to prevent an accident from happening. So our overall training goal is to understand the importance of safety and safety awareness on the job site for yourself, your employees, and also your customers. So for job site safety, always use good safety practices on a constant basis. Make good use of protective clothing and equipment. That includes ear and eye protection, dust masks and respirators, coverall, gloves or knee pads, hard hats, and appropriate footwear. Also, make sure you inspect your protective equipment on a regular basis to make sure it's actually safe for use. As far as heat exhaustion and heat stroke, those are very important things to talk about. Working in hot weather may lead to heat casualties, especially, for example, when working in an attic, the potential is even greater, or maybe a crawl space of some type, right? To prevent heat casualties, you want to work in short shifts. You want to drink 10 to 15 glasses of water daily to replace lost fluids, and pace yourself during especially hot days. Keep in mind that on a resting level, on a regular basis, medically speaking, they say you're supposed to be drinking 8 glasses of water a day. That's outside from any kind of extraneous physical activity. So when you start working in extremely hot areas like an attic in the middle of the summer, or a crawl space, or a basement, or something like that, that 8 glasses a day is not going to do anything for you. When you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. You want to be able to intake water on a regular basis at regular intervals without feeling thirsty. Like it said, if you only drink when you're thirsty, that means your body's already dehydrated, and that's why you're feeling thirsty to begin with. If you don't properly hydrate or protect yourself, you may be a casualty of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. Now, these are some of the symptoms that you can experience in yourself and see in others. So your skin is either hot and dry or cold and clammy. You have a very fast pulse. You have headache. You have dizziness. You feel nauseated or you're going to vomit. You also may lose consciousness. Keep in mind that heat stroke is a medical emergency. You can die from heat stroke. And heat stroke doesn't necessarily mean that you're standing under the sun nonstop. If you're dehydrated enough, you may be a victim. You may become a victim of heat stroke. So first aid procedure for heat exhaustions, obviously you want to seek medical help at once. Move the injured to a shady, cool place. You want to loosen or remove excess clothing. Apply cold packs to the head, and do not give him any stimulants. And here's some basic do's and don'ts for first aid. So the first thing you always do, no matter what, always call for medical help. You are not a professional. You can give immediate assistance, but the first thing you want to do is you want to call the experts to make sure they come out and provide proper medical assistance. Do not move the victim unless absolutely necessary. Check for breathing. Check for bleeding. Keep them warm and as comfortable as possible. Do not give the victim liquid or food. And then document as much information as possible about the accident to pass on to appropriate emergency response personnel. Now, these steps are first aid steps in general, not just for heat stroke or heat exhaustion that we were talking about a second ago. So if anything were to happen in regards to anything, broken bone, burn, a fall, some kind of concussion, whatever it may be, follow these steps and always call for medical help first. Now, when you call for medical help, do not hang up until asked to do so. They might want to keep you on the line to ask you for additional information. They might keep you on the line until medical personnel actually arrives on the scene. So be sure you stay on the phone until they tell you to do so. When you call, give the following information to the dispatcher: your name, telephone number, location, and type of emergency, and any additional information they may need to know for the particular scenario. So when it comes to safety, also keep in mind safety in a customer's home. Remember, you are the guest in a customer's home. So keep this in consideration when it comes to the safety of your customer. Keep hazards outside of the house. Think of what hazards might be inside of the house. Do you have potential dirty clothing and equipment? Is furniture or upholstery going to be an issue? Is there any pets or children in the area? Or just do a quick walk around to make sure there is nothing that might be a danger to you or the homeowner. Situational awareness is always the key. And in regards to safety in the home, ladders are a big portion of that as well, right? So don't leave the ladders against the wall. Don't place ladders on loose rugs. The ladder might slip from underneath you. Avoid sudden turns when carrying the ladder in a home so that you don't smack a wall, a piece of furniture, or even a person or your partner that's behind you. Watch for overhead objects. Could be lighting fixtures hanging. It could just be overhangs. Watch your step when entering the attic. You definitely don't want to slip and take a tumble from the attic. Don't carry everything one trip. Don't try to be an overachiever, you might say. So do as many trips as necessary to carry everything you need to carry in a safe and organized manner. And obviously beware of wires and extension cords on the floor because of trip hazards. Now, when working in an attic, you got to take extra care, obviously, because there are additional variables that wouldn't be present inside the house. So don't throw your equipment ahead across in the attic. It can crack the ceiling. Or if there's electrical wires or plumbing along the way, you might create additional damage. Only walk on the joists. Do not walk on the drywall. You will fall right through. Uh, don't try to balance without 4 points of contact. So as you're walking on the joist, don't just try to balance yourself on the joist. Ideally, you should be on your hands and knees with 4 points of contacts. Left knee, left hand, right hand. Because remember, crawling is not only okay, it's smart. With 4 points of contact, you're going to have the best chance of remaining uninjured and not breaking or falling onto anything. Per OSHA requirements, ladders are supposed to extend 2 feet past the attic access into the attic. So don't bring your 4-foot ladder and then just hoist yourself up into the attic because you want to save time. And a proper ladder is supposed to extend 2 feet past the attic access into the attic so you can safely climb into the attic. And then be careful of knob and tube or other types of exposed wiring. You're not going to run into that in new construction homes, but if you're going to be dealing in alterations and additions, there is a chance that you're going to run into knob and tube wiring from older construction within the home. Keep in mind that knob and tube wiring is very dangerous because if it's live, you might be electrocuted by touching it, depending on the condition of it. So be sure that you know where you're working around, and if you're not sure, don't touch it. You might have to get an electrician to identify whether the wiring is live or not. So when in doubt, don't mess with it. And as usual, if you have any questions about the presentation or anything that we talked about so far, feel free to contact us through the messaging system, an email, or give us a call.